Hello and welcome to Nexus Review number 23, Studio Series Volkswagen Bumblebee.
Whoa, what? What do you mean, what? This was supposed to be part 2 for my review.
And...
You were supposed to explain what all this does.
Alright, look, I'm the reviewer here. I review what I want, and I don't need another Kyle telling me what to do in my reviews. So just get lost. I'll get to you whenever I want to get to you.
Seriously? Fine.
Now, back to Volkswagen Bumblebee. And let me just say, Bumblebee as a Volkswagen after 30 years is kind of a trip, especially considering that this is his movie version. What, what, what do you mean he's not canon? Well, that just removes the whole point of him even having a prequel. Well, yeah, it's not a prequel anymore, but just, so there's no point to this Bumblebee actually existing. Great. But hey, the painting and the sculpting on this Volkswagen mode is really good. You can look at it and immediately tell that it's a Volkswagen, but as for paint, it's kind of lacking. You see, due to all the clear plastic they, for some reason, had to include, a lot of the paint budget for vehicle mode goes into covering all that up. But at least they didn't skimp out on all of the really necessary stuff. The bumpers are picked out in an entire different color of plastic. The wheels are painted so that they have proper separation, and the turn signals and taillights are all picked out. Now, as for size comparison, how about the closest thing I have to a G1 Bumblebee? How about a Cybertronian G1 Prime? Let's bring in... jeez. Get out of here already. Like, it's not your review. Just leave. TLK Barricade. And hey, that's not a bad scale. And speaking of not a bad scale, let's put him with Dark of the Moon Bumblebee. And frankly, this is about how big a Volkswagen Beetle would look next to a 2011 Camaro in the real world. So, for people complaining that this is small, shut up. Before we get into transformation, I'd just like to point out that you can store everything on the bottom of them, though it's a bit too complex to recreate putting them in stop motions. And due to how just complex this little guy is, I'm not going to explain every step of transformation, though if there is something important that I need to point out, I'll just say it. There's a slider here, and you're going to want to have to slide the armature that the shin is on all the way over to the outside of the leg in order to complete the transformation. Now, you have to ensure that the backpack is clipped all the way up to the absolute maximum it goes. And yes, it's a bit terrifying considering that it's mostly made of translucent plastic, and you are pushing it, and it's just bad. Come on, guys. And then here for the chest, it does something I really like, a pop in on one hinge, and then in again on a second hinge. Just something cool, I guess. And man, what a transformation. Very effective in the way it folds up the backpack. Although, the backpack I don't like. I mean, the roof and the hood I think is fine. I think that it's a good way of hiding kibble placement, especially considering one of the things that the Studio Series tries to do is hide away windshields, as, well, on the Transformers CGI models in the movie, you don't typically see windshields. But my problem comes with the wings, not the fact that in the Bumblebee movie, Bumblebee didn't have wings, more so that almost the entire side of the car is used to make them. That's just straight up annoying. Speaking of the wings not being CG model accurate, another thing that's not entirely accurate would be the proportions on this guy. The legs are a bit thin and the arms are a bit short. He's a bit more gorilla-armed than the movie. However, I will have to say that the transformation leads to an impressive bit of engineering in the chest, where I feel it's actually properly proportioned. And I'm sure this is improved even more on the Masterpiece version. But for a little deluxe, it's not as bad. What is bad is that this deluxe also came out during the price hike. So, for $30, you would expect something a bit more accurate. I'm sure if this came out maybe half a year later, it would be more in tune with the CG model. But then again, they had to get a Bumblebee toy out before the Bumblebee movie. So, you kind of take your wins with your losses, I guess. Now, as for articulation, I'm going to be doing it on video again, since nobody really complained about the articulation segment being on video. Down that far, and then you can also look up that far. Head is, of course, on a ball joint, so you can look around. His tits can move. The wings, like every other Bumblebee, are on hinges, so they can, flex back unless they've been loosened, because they're on translucent hinges. The arms can go up at this transformation joint here, and then they're also on a ball joint, so yeah, that's pretty unlimited. Of course, the arms are on a ball joint, so they could do 360, but again, wings and backpack get in the way. Bicep swivel, 90 degrees, just over 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. A little trick you can do here is you can pop off the arm, put it in back on at a different angle. You could have Bumblebee going like this, because we all know Bumblebee's most famous for reciting philosophical comments. Hands flap. Waist swivel do the transformation, although it is blocked, though frankly that's all you're going to need out of the waist. The hips can go out for a pretty beautiful spread. Forward this far. There is a thigh swivel, however you're not going to get much inward movement thanks to this piece here. It might just be better cutting that off, although you do get some decent outward movement. Of the knee bends that far. The ankles can point down, of course, and they can point up. They are on a set of hinges that can allow this. That's a decent range. And then there's an ankle pivot. And the painting on the sculpting on this guy is pretty good. The head takes homage to the original Bumblebee face, although is still movie accurate, and is actually pretty cute, much cuter than the old face. There is some sculpted detail in his stomach, and hey, while the hood on his chest might not be real, at least it's in molded yellow plastic. The shins do look a little stretched due to the legs being too thin, but I do like the feet, because, well, they're just good-looking feet. Alas, when it comes to painting, there are missing details on the upper arms and on the hips, where you can see that there's some piston details around the crotch area that could have been picked out, and also inside of the side of the hip as well. Although any person worth half their weight in paint can fix these problems pretty easily. As for accessories, Bumblebee has his Stinger sword, which is nice looking because it's picked out in paint and has nice detail. He also has his arm blaster, although it does look a bit thin. Last but not least is an accessory that does make this figure feel more premium. You can tear off the face and replace it with his battle mask, and while it needs more paint, it still looks pretty good. And it's something I'd never expect to be included with something like this. Lastly, you can put most of the accessories on his back, but you can't store the gun and the sword at the same time, which is stupid. That is, unless you literally put the gun in his ass. Size comparison, Generation Legends Bumblebee. Dark of the Moon Bumblebee. Wow! He's that short? It's like the middle point between a Legends and a normal Deluxe. That... Ow. I felt that in my wallet. But hey, at least he looks like he takes design cues from both of the different Bumblebees, so that's a good thing. It's almost like a fusion ha. Here he is with Siege Optimus Prime. Wait, huh? Where
is Bumblebee?
Sorry I'm late, I was slow in the box office. Optimus?
Beaver's Autobots? Attack! G1 Autobots, fall back!
But Prime, we deserve a movie.
We already had a movie. Nobody wanted to see it. Look, our time is done. We had a good run, and as long as people remember us, we shall never die. You will both die!
Yeah. Dang.
Stay still. There's no need to fight. Then it's time I put you down.
Bung.
Did you think you could hide? Yeet! It didn't have to end this way, Bumblebee. You could have joined me, but instead you chose the darker path. Wait! It's not a reboot. There's going to be a Transformers 6. Your story will conclude. Wait, what? Hasbro has confirmed it. Bumblebee is still a prequel. And you will get your Transformers 6. Oh, dang. Sorry for all the trouble I've caused over this. I'll just go.
But wait. If my movie really is a prequel, how come everyone's saying it's a reboot?
Alas, the internet can be a dangerous place. Misinformation spreads like wildfire. You must take everything with a grain of salt, and fact-check what you read.
Did this just become a PSA for internet safety?
Who knows, probably. At least it keeps the flat earthers off the streets. Oh wait, no it doesn't.
I've been Nexus 86 Productions. Consider subscribing or liking the video. Maybe turn that bell icon on. Have I begged enough? Just do it. Come on. You know you want to.